Hi everybody and welcome to another competitive Modern League. This week I'm going to be playing Jeskai Delver, and the reason is that last week I put a poll out there asking everybody what they wanted to see, and very surprisingly Jeskai Delver by far had the most votes, but also surprisingly Jeskai Kiki Control had the second most. I think people have been watching a lot of like Jeskai Geist on not just my channel but probably on like Star City streams and various things, and probably are just looking for a change. But I'm definitely going to play Jeskai Delver this week, and I just also wanted to mention Mono Blue Tron players and Jeskai Kiki Control players, don't worry, I'm going to play those decks. Maybe not this week, maybe not next week, I'm not sure yet, but I will definitely play it. I'm also going to be doing a poll at some point in the near future asking everybody what additional colors do you want me to invest in besides Jeskai. One quick thing I want to mention, I've had to record this now. This is like my third time. It's 11:30. It's getting late. I won't go into all the details. I'll just say I've had some audio issues and drivers, and the audio was completely unusable. I've had to like restart the league twice. This is now the third league, so hopefully everything works out this time. Everything seems fine. Now I'm like getting paranoid. I'm gonna double check. Audio looks good from what I can tell. So, okay, so let's talk about why I have this list. I want to give a quick shout out to MTG Salvation, and actually not so much MTG Salvation, but mostly the people that foster communities talking about decks that they're passionate about. And I want to highlight one guy in particular, but thank you everybody who replied to me. What I did was, when I realized I was going to play Jeskai Delver, I put a post on the Jeskai Prowess and then the Jeskai Delver forums on MTG Salvation and said, hey, you know, I'm going to be playing Jeskai Delver. I put a poll out there. This is what people voted for, but I don't really know much about the deck. What should I play? And I got some awesome replies, but one reply specifically was from Curd Bros. And the guy replied, he's actually like the curator of the original poster for both the Jeskai Prowess and the Jeskai Delver lists. He sent me like a novel in a good way. But he explained to me like what the different lists are, kind of what their objectives are, why people play them. So I wanted to pass that back to you guys, but also just let him know that I really appreciate the time that he put into the reply. So what I gathered out of this is that you basically have three types of Delver decks. You have his list, which is the list we're going to be playing, which is like an aggro control list. It wants to be aggressive, but it wants to like land a threat and then tempo the opponent out or control the game while protecting the threat. The second version he sent me is more of like an all-in type of aggressive version. So this one has like Goblin Guides, Grim Lavamancer, Mantis Riders, Monastery Swiftspears, just trying to be as absolutely aggressive as possible. And then the third is more of a mid-range list, Young Pyromancers, less Geist, more counter spells. And so the reason that I'm picking the list that I am is one main reason. Well, there's a few reasons. I'll touch on all of them. So I was actually kind of interested and glad to play Delver, and the reason is I was talking recently with some friends, and this is me being silly, but I was like, how can we fix the Valakut matchup? Can we just like take 8 sideboard cards and suddenly become like a really aggressive deck and beat them that way? And obviously I wouldn't really do that, but one thing that I like about the Delver lists is, well, just I don't want to play a deck just to play a deck. I like want to have a reason that I'm playing that deck if I'm being even semi-serious about it. But in theory, the Delver deck should have a better matchup against decks like Valakut because you have a much earlier clock. And the difference, the way that they play out versus like a Jeskai Geist list is a Jeskai Geist list you want to be controlling on the first, 1 and 2 turns, and then land your threat and try to turn the corner from there if you can. But now the Jeskai Geist lists recently are a little less in on like the Geist plan. They're a little less in on the turn 3, turn the corner. And they're more like, we'll play Geist when it's the right time, even if the game's gone a little bit longer. A Delver list, in theory, should be better against the Valakut decks because they can play a threat on turn 1 and then say turn 2 remand a ramp spell or something. And the whole idea is they're going to be continuously applying pressure. So they just have an earlier and faster clock. I don't know if it's faster, but they definitely have an earlier clock. But some of these lists also back it up with Geist of St. Traft, which is great. And so my reason to play the deck again is just that they apply earlier pressure than the Geist lists, and in theory should improve some of the matchups in which you wish you could be faster. The reason I'm picking his list is because as far as the all-in aggressive lists, I don't really want to play, and I see that this list doesn't actually have a Delver, but I don't want to play Goblin Guide. If I'm going to play Goblin Guide, I feel like I should just be playing Burn. And I could be wrong about that, but I certainly don't want to play Goblin Guide in a deck in which I'm hoping to land an early threat and then control the game, because I'm probably going to be giving them additional resources. Goblin Guide doesn't attack through very many things. I might not have as much burn to finish the job. And as far as the mid-range plan, I feel like if you want to play like a grindier Delver list, you're probably better off playing Grixis, because they have the tools that Jeskai doesn't have, whereas Jeskai has things like Geist and Helix. So I think you want to be more aggressive than a mid-range plan, because Grixis just does a better job, and you have other tools like Helix to have a 6-point life swing, which can benefit the racing/tempo plan. So this is the list that he sent me. And I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to play his exact list, but I will talk about some of the cards that I either feel are suspect or I'm unsure about. So one of them is Spell Queller. I think Spell Queller is a great card. It's just that I feel like in a Delver list, its power is kind of anemic. Delver can give you 3 power for 1 mana. Queller is 2 power for 1 mana. And it's not that Queller isn't good. It's just that on 3, it doesn't do the most damage. Also, let's see here. Distortion Strike. I mean, obviously it's going to be great with Swiftspear and great with Geist, but on its if you don't have those cards, I'm not sure how good it is. There's one card that draws a card, and at least then you could play it on like another creature to cycle. So I'm not sure about that. I also kind of want another Spell Pierce or Dispel main, simply because we have threats that we do want to be protecting. I'm not sure about the Boros Charm. I feel like maybe this needs to be another counter spell. Then again, it does protect you from a Wrath. It can help you like punch Geist through something. And I think that's probably the main reason to play it, is just more for the creature protection aspect. But then obviously it can help you close out a game, especially with Snapcaster Mages. So I'm just not sure how that's going to play out. In the past, I tried Vapor Snag, and it was really bad against Affinity. But it's also really good against Delve creatures and just big expensive creatures, so maybe it's good enough. I do like it in this type of aggressive list. Echoing Truce is kind of interesting. I feel like maybe it could be better as a sideboard card, and one card I would consider running main if I was going to run a card like this might be something like Boomerang, because being able to bounce the land could also be that's very much on the like tempo plan. Echoing Truth can't bounce a land. It does have the secondary ability, but outside of something like Lingering Souls, I kind of think that Boomerang might, if you're going to run this type of card for 2 mana, Boomerang might be a little bit more of what the deck wants to do. Outside of that, it's pretty like standard. A bunch of instants and sorceries. You don't need as many paths because you're not being as controlling. You don't also want to give them too many lands. As far as the sideboard goes, I kind of feel like the Aven Mind Sensor is suspect, only because I just haven't been that impressed by it. Everything else is pretty good. The one other thing is, if I wasn't going to run the Queller, maybe it could be another Young Pyromancer. I can kind of see having one main, because there are times it would be good, and one side. That way, if it's not good, you can take the one main out, but if it is good, you get to double up on it. Shadow of Doubt, I'm also kind of a little unsure about. I'm a little unsure about Deflecting Palm. It seems good against the Death Shadow matchup, but I feel like I would rather just, well, they're probably going to have a counterspell for it. And I'm not sure that this is better than just like finding another way to kill it. Outside of that, I don't really have any other comments on the deck. One thing I realized about playing this deck and the matches I already have is I don't really know how to play it. I mean, the basics, of course, but there's situations like you might draw a hand of like, 2 lands, Bolt, Snap, Serum Visions. Do you mulligan until you find a Swiftspear or a Delver, like the early threat? I don't know, but it seems like the deck definitely operates better. with an early threat. I would say that if you have a reasonable hand without an early 1-drop threat, you just have to go with it. But these are questions I'm not quite sure of yet. I suppose we'll learn as we play. So speaking of playing, let's get into a match. One other thing I wanted to mention before the league gets started is the land count. 18, I have not done the math, but 18 seems a little on the greedy side. I wouldn't be surprised if 19 is the correct amount. 18 feels pretty low, and my gut feels like we're going to have a lot of hands in which there are no landers or just one landers without a cantrip. But let's see how it plays out. All right, we have a matchup. We do want to be on the play, of course. Is that even a question? We have a Delver. Okay, kind of like I just said. First hand is no lands. So let's mulligan. I don't think that's probably the norm, but this seems very keepable. Bunch of threats. Well, it doesn't really matter what I do with that because I'm not going to not play a turn 1 threat here. I'm going to lead on Steam Vents because this can get an island if I want it to. What I'd really like to draw is something like a Serum Visions. That way I can go Monastery Swiftspear this turn, then next turn play a Swiftspear and cast like Serum Visions and attack for 4. Put this guy into play. Go to attacks. Alright, so this is one of the decks I would hope that we are better against. I'm definitely just going to play this Fire Bluff, play a Swiftspear, and attack. Well, I don't know if this is Tron. This is probably Eldrazi Tron, so we'll have to see. If it's regular Tron, I think that this is one of the things I think I would rather have Delver against, but if it's Eldrazi Tron, I guess we'll see. This is going to be like a Chalice. Well, thankfully we drew a Helix. So let's go ahead and get the Plains. Chalice, it's Eldrazi Tron. Our life total could matter. Let's get a Plains. I think there's no reason to shock that I can think of. Can we just always yield? Pretty good start. Our opponent's at 7. Thought Not Seer is going to be my guess. It's going to take the Snapcaster Mage. How much is this to cast? Probably a lot. So we can attack anyway and punch our opponent down to 5. I'm gonna do it. Well, let's see if we draw. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. It's kind of unfortunate, but if it's such a fast start, I don't want to just like let up from a pressure standpoint. I wish we had another Helix or something. Okay, well, that's not going to resolve. Matter Reshaper. Alright, so he's almost dead to just the Angel. So we're kind of like falling. It's not that we're falling behind, but we're kind of falling behind. But what's interesting is our opponent really can't do anything. I mean, what I mean is that they, at least for now, they can't attack us. So at least we're we're behind. I feel like it's not that we're behind. It's just that their board's looking a lot better than our board. But Geist plus Helix would get the job done. Yes, you can attack. Obviously, that means he's got a follow-up blocker of some kind. Probably another Thought-Knot Seer. Does Bolt get it done? Obviously, the Bolt will get countered, but the Swift Spears will get 2 power each. It's got 2 blockers. That would do it. Alright, well, that worked out. Okay, so against Eldrazi Tron, think of what the Shadow of Doubt. Definitely want this for Chalice. I want this for Chalice. Probably want this Aven Mind Sensor. I'm not sure how good these remans are. Depends if they have a cavern or not. I don't know if I want the Spell Pierce. I like Spell Pierce against Chalice. That's probably it. Distortion Strike seems okay against Geist, or for Geist to punch them through their dudes. Not sure about this Boros Charm. What else might look bad? I'm not sure when you want this chart. If I'm going to take out my counter magic, I think I want to keep it in. I also don't... I guess Pyro seems somewhat reasonable if we can go wide around his dudes. But maybe we don't want Pyro if we think he might be resolving a Chalice. I don't think we want the Spell Pierce against this deck. It's not that I want him to resolve a Chalice, but unless we have it like turn 1 and it counters a Chalice, I don't think it's very good. What does this look like? Take that out. What do we got here? Maybe we just want another Bedlam Reveler because we can make it big enough to sort of go toe-to-toe with some of his creatures. Maybe that's better. I'm not sure about this chart. But I also want to play it. I was kind of excited to see this card, but I realized that I couldn't play it in the Jeskai Geist decks that I usually play because I just don't have enough early threats. It's kind of interesting. I don't know that it's good enough against them though. I'm gonna give this a shot. What counters did I leave in? Did I take out everything? Because we might want counters against things like Karn and whatnot. So maybe it was wrong to take out all of that. No early threat. This is where I really don't know what to do with this deck because we have Burn. We have a way to bounce Chalice. We don't have a... I'm going to keep it because it seems like an extremely reasonable hand. But maybe I'm supposed to mulligan to try to find like a Delver of Secrets or something because I feel like unless we have something to do early, we're going to kind of struggle. Okay, there's a map. I'm going to lead on Seachrome, mainly just because if he has like an early Thought-Knot Seer, I would like to path it as opposed to him take our only way to deal with it. Although I guess we do have a Truth. Alright, well, I think we want to play this Flooded Stream. We can bounce the Chalice with the Echoing Truth when we need to. Unfortunately, we can't bounce it. I wonder if I should have bounced the map. No, that can't be right. We got to get rid of this at some point. So we're gonna get nothing. Opponent's only 3 cards in hand. I don't think we want to bounce the Chalice now. I'm gonna shock and then just gain the life back. I want to do something this turn. I'm gonna Helix him. All right, so since we drew this, I think we went to see what happens here, but we want to bounce this and then follow it up with Swift Spear and like a bolt to the face or something. I don't have any counter spells anyway. Is this going to be like a Smasher perhaps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so let's bounce this. Play this, bolt the opponent, attack. Play this tap. So next turn I think we should be able to play, I think we can play Bedlam Reveler. It costs 4? No. It's reduced by 3, so it costs 5. What costs 6? With blue mana. Alright, well thankfully we have a Path to Exile for that. Could path it now, but ooh. I'm gonna Vapor Snag it. Alright, what I'd really like him to do is just tap out again to play it. Oh, but he's got that Chalice. I guess we'll play that first. That makes sense. Oh, can't play that. Can't play that. Oh, we have this Bedlam Reveler. Costs 4 mana. It's everything. Well, we have nothing else to do. Just discard these other ones and see what we draw. So we can Echoing Truth, the Endbringer. That would be 3, 4, 5, 6. Smasher, okay. Coming in for 10, alright. This untaps. Hmm. I think we pass. Because we can actually we can snap Helix him. Creature or player. I'm not sure what he did there, but we can, so we're dead to this, but we can snap Helix to stay alive. If we snap Helix, we can actually make our Bedlam Reveler. Let's see here. I think we need to kill this. We can snap Helix our opponent to 6. I'm not sure yet. We can snap Helix our opponent, put him to 6. We could also snap Helix the Endbringer. This would then have 2 power. We could also opt, even though it's going to get countered. And then this would be a 5/6, and we could block everything. I think I'm going to try that. Alright, so I'm going to block first. I wonder if I'm making a mistake, if I should just be helixing him in the face. Because he has 3 cards, he has some follow-up plays. But we'll eventually lose to this, and we can't attack when this untaps, so I'm going to go with that plan, even if I'm not 100% sure that it's right. So then fetch for an island, cast opt, even though it's going to get countered just for the prowess trigger. It's not the worst. That's the worst. So, and it has vigilance. So you can attack. Yeah, I can't figure out how we're gonna get out of this. I'm not even sure that it's worth like blocking. I don't think it is. So if we had Cryptic Command in this deck, that could be a potential answer. Alright, I'm gonna pass. I think this game's probably, well, not probably, I think the game's way over. Alright, and he gets a draw card. It's going from like bad to worse. Ulamog? Yeah, okay. I don't know. I guess Shattering Spree. What I don't know is when you do the copies get countered? I don't know. So when you cast it, you copy it. I think that the way that Chalice works is it's on cast. So I think the copies, like you could play this for 2. I think. And I think the copy kills Chalice, I think. I think I need it. I kind of want to bring in these Spell Pierces. Feels bad, but the Chalice is just the worst. Maybe I can take out this chart of that one, and then Helix doesn't kill anything, but I'm gonna try this. Helix doesn't kill anything. I mean, it kills a few things. It's good for the race, but I'm gonna give this a shot. All right, so this is. I'm gonna keep it. But I was gonna say it's good, but we have the turn 1 threat, which we want, but we don't have a way to counter a turn 2 Chalice. But we have like early threat, removal for Eldrazi, a Snapcaster Mage, a Geist. I can't mulligan this. So I hope Chalice doesn't lock us out of the game. We could still draw a Spell Pierce. I wonder if these are supposed to come out just because they don't really match up well against the Eldrazi creatures. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, like, if I took them out, what I'd bring in either. This matchup seems a bit rough. I guess this is not like Serum Visions. I guess I can just opt now. Yeah. think I'd take that. It has a rebound, which is pretty sweet. So I don't know what his next play is going to be, but we have, it's going to be a chalice. Okay. Whew. I guess we can't snap opt. For obvious reasons. We do get to cast this again, which is cool. That's interesting. Do we play Geist or hit for 7? I think I want to play to the board. I thought this thing got exiled. So I could technically, no, I mean, I could technically still snap it back. Obviously it's going to get exiled. Yeah, he would have just exiled it anyway. I was just more commenting on the fact that I didn't realize that you could, it would, that after the rebound it went to the graveyard. I guess since for some reason I thought it, alright, well, I guess I thought it got exiled or something. Alright, so something gigantic. Thankfully we have Path, but this it's probably a Thought Not Seer. What would be cool? Another Path would be cool. Vapor Snag would be cool. Lots of things would be cool. That's less cool. We're attacking. Opponent's probably going to block the Geist. So if we Helix now, then this represents 6 damage. 2, 6. The Helix puts him at 3. And then Snap finishes the job. I think we have to go for that as opposed to killing the Thought Knot. And then he's kind of dead to lots of things. Another Thought Knot would be massively annoying. Like that. So we can draw a Snap, we can draw a You have hexproof. Really? I'm not going to cast that just yet. I mean, I know, like, the primary reason is, you know what, maybe that's wrong. Maybe I should have just cycled it until I could Path to Exile or something. Ugin. I mean, not Ugin. The big indestructible guy. Well, this is going to die. I guess we can cycle this. Maybe we'll draw a burn spell, which it's kind of silly. We should have done it last turn if that's the case, but there's that Spell Pierce. Not looking very good against Ballista. It's going to die anyway. We might as well have it absorb some damage. Although I guess it doesn't really matter. Bolt. Oh, 4, 8. Dead. Ah, that felt like a really close game. Well, there's a path. I'm not saying that the matchup with Geist is... The Geist deck's amazing, but I do like how it has Cryptic Command and whatnot to kind of fight this fight or tempo them out as well. You definitely can't run Cryptic Command in an 18 land deck, but maybe there's... Oh, heck, I don't know. I'm going to keep running this list. I'm not sure what's best yet. Okay, sorry I'm late. If you haven't seen my latest vlog, please watch it. It is very educational in a humorous standpoint from a very famous Magic the Gathering... Well, from the standpoint of a famous Magic the Gathering educator. And I also do a review of my favorite bag to take to Magic the Gathering tournaments. I think it's just amazing. And that's it. All right, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. You know what to do. Bye for now.